All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, everyone had a great holiday yesterday. Welcome to the Fourth and Long Podcast, episode 15. I kind of named it We're Thankful for Rivalry Week because apparently it's kind of Rivalry Week, but really it's just Auburn, Alabama, and Oregon State. I don't really understand it. But yeah, man, I know you've been working hard, so getting some money, but how was your day yesterday? Did you at least get a decent meal in you?
Yeah, I did. They got us some pizza, so I
Uh,
can't turn down pizza.
I know I always never want it, but I'm always like, okay, I'll take two to go. But so we have a lot to get into today. It'll probably it won't be one of our longer shows, but this slate is it's pretty good. Even today's slate is, I think, pretty good. I think today's slate actually is better than tomorrow's overall. But let's hop right into it, and we're gonna go into today in sports history. And with that, I gotta pull it up. Oh, come on. All right, whatever. Today in sports history, in 1870, the New York Times dubbed baseball as the national game. In 1941, Joe DiMaggio was named the AL MVP. And this is kind of recent kind of news. In 1957 NFL draft, Green Bay selected now deceased Notre Dame's Paul Hornung with the first pick. He just died, I believe, like a week ago. And then
Mhm.
also in sports history, probably one of the greatest soccer players ever, Diego Maradona, died, I think, on Wednesday. So Wednesday. So he was on the edge in his later years. I hit videos of him at the Brazil World Cup where he was on a quite a good amount of drugs, so it's good for him, but whatever. And then so we're gonna start out with two things. We're gonna go to two truths and two lies before we get really into the thick of things. Jake, it is your turn, and
Yep.
you got me on Jim Harbaugh.
Yes, sir. All right. So first one, Jim Harbaugh played for three NFL teams. His first name is Joseph. Through his NFL career, only had one Pro Bowl selection, and he attended the University of Michigan.
Okay, he went to Michigan. That's true. Um, he didn't have a Pro Bowl selection, so that's false. What were the first two?
Um, play Played for three NFL teams, and his first name is Joseph.
He played for three NFL teams, I think. So the
Is that
true
your
ones,
final answer?
true ones are he went to Michigan and he played for three NFL teams. Yeah.
Ooh, unfortunately, you are wrong. He did have one Pro Bowl selection through his NFL career. You did get the attended the University of Michigan. His first name is actually James, and he played for four NFL teams:
I don't know. I don't know why.
Colts, Ravens, and Chargers.
Yeah, when you said Jim Harbaugh, I guess that is short for James, like Jimmy James. Yeah, whatever. I got that one kind of right, but
Yeah.
that was good. That was a good one. That was good. That was a good, quick one. So we can get right into the thick of things today. Before we get into obviously the college football playoff rankings unveiling and everything like that, let's go over some news and notes from the week. It was said. I mean, I hate to say it, but it looks like it's just the coronavirus is just going to keep getting worse, and we're going to see more and more of these games being canceled. Speaking of that, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl has been canceled, citing coronavirus fears. This game has been played annually since 2010, and the original date to play was going to be the 29th of December in 2020. I think a lot of these smaller bowls are going to end up doing this because I either think people will opt out or they just don't want to have the liability on them. So that's my opinion on that. If you have anything to say, if not, I'm going to head on to the next one.
No, not really. I mean,
Okay.
I just think you're right. I also think players, if they were to play these games, would opt out. They just be like,
Yeah.
we're not going to risk it. So you can play with the guys who haven't really played all season. So
I mean, Penn State has a team full of people that just don't want to play football.
yeah.
So the next news and notes is Colorado at USC has been has been canceled because USC um, has too few scholarship players on the offensive line to play the game instead. So Colorado will host San Diego State, and I believe LSU is just marking this down as a loss and not playing anyone here. That basically kills any chance USC would have at the um, playoff. Even though I think it was slim to none to begin with, playing only like 5 games is not going to get it done for them.
Mhm.
Um, so, and then on to Shane Beamer, son of legendary Virginia Tech coach Frank Beamer, is garnering more and more full support to fill the head coaching vacancy in South Carolina. He is receiving like support from alumni and even current NFL players like Melvin Ingram tweeted earlier that he wanted him to like set the tone at the university and come down to South Carolina. Also, D'Angelo Hall, who I don't think plays in the NFL anymore, but did go to Virginia Tech. He also wants Virginia Tech to um, get Shane Beamer as the coach because I do think Justin Fuente might be on the hot seat this year. They had a pretty terrible year. And then after that, Nick Saban, the Alabama head coach, will miss the Iron Bowl this year as he tested positive this week. He's actually showing signs of the virus, so we wish the best to Coach Saban because he is an older guy. I mean, he's obviously in really good shape and everything, but he's an older guy. And we'll talk this a little more about when we get into the game of the week, the Iron Bowl. But I just really don't think Gus. The only thing that really gets me is like Gus Malzahn never coached under Saban or with Saban. So, and I feel like Saban has that advantage. Like it's like in the Water Boy when we first brought it up. Is like you look across and you see like your old coach, and it kind of intimidates you. But I don't think it'll be that big a deal, anyways, because like we said, Auburn's terrible on the road,
Mhm.
and so other than that, yes, and finally, Kentucky will be down 18 players when they take on Florida Saturday. Wildcats coach Mark Stoops said on Wednesday the team can't afford any more personnel losses as it goes through another round of COVID-19 testing on Thursday morning. That came from ESPN. So I mean, it's really spreading and it's really kind of moving the schedule around. I have a feeling later, like Big Ten's end of the schedule, like a lot of things are going to be moved around. The SEC's end of the schedule, I believe almost all of them have that 12th, the December 12th. All of them have filled their makeup game for that. So I don't know when they're going to play it, and I just don't see the SEC being like the type of fans that accept um, just calling it a no contest. Like they did not down south. They probably don't like soccer. Doesn't score enough.
Mhm.
And then finally, the last one, Oklahoma, West Virginia has been canceled due to a virus outbreak in Oklahoma. They have halted all their football activities. So all you Sooners fans that even had a dimmer of hope for a simmer of hope, I don't know what the word is, of for them to sneak in like they have done the past 3 years, it's pretty much gone now. So that's pretty much it for the news and notes. And now we get to the big unveiling of the first college football playoff rankings came out this week. I believe they were released Tuesday night or Wednesday night. And it has the same top four, but a little different. But I'll go ahead and read it off. So these are the first college football playoff rankings. Number 1 is Alabama, 2 is Notre Dame, 3 Clemson, 4 Ohio State, 5 Texas A&M, 6 Florida, 7 Cincinnati, 8 Northwestern, 9 Georgia, 10 Miami, Florida, 11 Oklahoma, 12 Indiana, 13 Iowa State, 14 BYU, 15 Oregon, and then Wisconsin, Texas, USC, North Carolina, Coastal Carolina, Marshall, Auburn, Oklahoma State, and Iowa round out, or Iowa and Tulsa round out the top 25. So I guess I've talked for a little bit already. Take me through what went through your head when all you've been doing is talking a big game for BYU this year, and with that first rankings, I would say it's virtually impossible for them to. So
Yeah, I
what
mean
is your
the committee really kind of screwed them over. I mean, I don't see them. They should be at least in the top 10. I can't believe Miami, Florida is above them for rankings. I mean, it's just Miami, Florida this year is still a one-loss team. I mean, Oklahoma, God forbid, they somehow get into conversation for a top 5 team. Everyone's going to be saying, "Oh no, here we go again." But I don't understand how Georgia struggled this year. You know that JT Daniels finally got a chance, actually showed that he can play, and they ranked them number 9. And
yeah?
Northwestern's ranked over BYU.
Well, Northwestern has a very clear path to the playoffs. Like if they win out and beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, they will be in the playoffs.
No, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's like seriously, you're gonna have a 3-win team over an 8-win team that's been just dominating the competition. I mean, I just feel like their offense and their defense at points this year have been really good and would make for an entertaining game. I mean, your boys at Ohio State are ranked number 4 over a one-loss team, Clemson. And
Um,
given that loss was at
South Bend.
when they were at Notre Dame, but they were also down Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I just all types of stuff, but we'll talk about it once we get in the hot takes because you told me not to say too
Um,
much on it.
yeah, I mean, Ohio State, Clemson, and Notre Dame, if they do both make it, no matter what, one of them is getting the 4 seed and one is getting the 2 seed probably, because the last thing people want to see in the college football playoff semifinal is a third game between Notre Dame and Clemson. Because they played once, they'll play again in the ACC championship, and then like 2 weeks later they'll play in the semifinals. And the committee has never liked rematches and things like that unless it's different years. So I wasn't surprised by that because Ohio State looked like garbage against Indiana. But yeah, it's just it's weird to see how much bias. I mean, I know it's ESPN has a bias towards the SEC, but it even seems like the committee has a bias towards the SEC. I mean, out of the I think they have 5 teams in, and 4 of their 5 teams they have in are all in the top 10. So they're pretty top heavy, except for Auburn, who's 22nd. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next week in the rankings coming out again. We'll get into it, but I think Notre Dame is really in a trap game here this week or here in 2 hours. So, but we'll get into that. But yeah, it clearly the committee also seems to clearly care a lot about how many games you've played, which is kind of the opposite for BYU. But I understand why BYU's out of the top 10. I don't know why they're all the way down at 14, but yeah. So I mean, like Ohio State better be able to finish all their games, or they're gonna not be able to. I mean, they will be eligible, but it would be hard for them to get in the playoffs. But
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. Do you have anything else on that? I know you say you're going to get into it in your
No,
hot takes. So,
we'll get into it in the hot takes.
all right. So, with that, we're going to head into the Week 13 rivalry week preview. We'll start with today's games. Jake, I believe you had the Iowa State Texas game, correct? Am I
Mhm.
wrong?
Yep, Iowa State versus Texas.
No, did I get you got that one though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, Sam Aldrich really turned it around for this Texas team. Iowa State, though, has been dominant over the past couple weeks. I mean, They're ranked, or were they? They were ranked number 13, I believe, coming to with the first college playoff rankings. Yeah, 13. I mean, they're on a tear the second half of the season. They're just dominating on all sides of the ball. Their offense is starting to click. Their defense is starting to actually hold up, which is, surprising to say for pretty much every team in college football this year. But it's just going to be a crazy game. I mean, Texas hasn't done what everyone expected them to do and what Sam Ellinger was supposed to be this year, but they've shown glimpses of being able to produce. And with a big game like this, Texas still trying to, crush the hopes of the Iowa State team. It's just going to be, I feel like this is going to be low key one of the good games for today.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be like Texas is favored by one, but I
Nope,
definitely
it's even. It's even.
it's
I
even.
checked it this morning. Yeah, it was a
Okay.
pick 'em.
Pick them.
So yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think Iowa State's still gonna pull this one out. When it comes to the over under, I mean, 57 is really kind of high. In all honesty, I'd probably take the under here of 57, and I'd take Iowa State.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I have down. Yeah, I take Iowa State outright. Just because it's even. And you didn't really talk about my boy Brees.
Well, yeah, you're right. I didn't talk about Brees Hall, but he's kind of been he's been wishy-washy this year. He hasn't been able to produce entirely on his own. At the same time, he's had games where he'll go off, but other games he'll just not be non-existent, and he might get 20 carries and only 50 yards with maybe a touchdown. I just don't see him being all that this year. I think their offensive line is really kind of struggling with some of these more physical fronts. But, we'll see. It all comes down to a battle in the trenches to get your running back going. So, again, we have Iowa State outright, and we take the under 57. So we also have today's game, surprisingly. I'm surprised to see this as a Friday game, but number 2 Notre Dame at number 19 North Carolina. Now, this game is going to be definitely a one to watch on North Carolina's offensive side. This is their biggest test, one of their biggest tests all year. Before this, they really crumbled under the pressure. Now we have a number 19 North Carolina team that just can't really produce.
Yeah. Apparently, I was
Oh.
gone for just like 45 seconds. So did you go over
Oh
North
yeah,
Carolina?
I started talking about Bryce Hall. I was just saying he's been really wishy-washy this year. He's had a couple really good games, but there's other games where he's just non-existent. He'll have like 15, 20 carries for maybe 50, 60 yards, and that's just kind of like bad Nick Chubb numbers. And I said if they want to be able to, get him going, it's going to be all on this offensive line to actually get push against the physical front. They haven't been able to do it in some games, but hopefully this is different. I mean, Texas has some big boys on the defensive line, so we'll see. Then I went into
Yeah, North
number 2 Notre
Carolina.
Dame. Yep. I was just saying how this is going to be a game to watch on North Carolina's offense and how they actually perform in their second biggest moment of the year. I mean, we remember talking about it a couple weeks ago. They were supposed to be, oh, look at this offense, look at this offense. Their defense isn't great, but you get their offense going. Yeah, you get your defense going, your offense going, and you can score with the best of them. So, I mean, up against Notre Dame, who has probably the best defense, if not second best defense in the country right now, it's just going to be a really interesting matchup to watch tonight. I'm surprised it still minus 5.5 for Notre Dame.
What did I put down? No, it's UNC or it's UNC +6, Notre Dame -6.
Okay. I mean, I'm surprised it's not lower. I think this is going to be a close game, at least for maybe the first half. But I just think North Carolina is going to have an offense that's just going to keep pushing on Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's going to be able to hop back a little bit and recuperate, but they're not. I don't think they're going to be able to fully stop North Carolina's air raid offense and Sam Howell at quarterback.
Yeah, North Carolina's been up and down team all year. I mean, they started season really well and climbed into the top 10. However, then they were shocked by Virginia and Florida State on the road. So basically, North Carolina is kind of like Auburn. They play really well at home, but really terrible on the road. Um, and the key for me this game is well, before I go to the key, Notre Dame's defense will be the key for them. Uh, they allow 100 less yards than North Carolina. I think North Carolina averages like 506, and Notre Dame only gives up like 398 or something. And so I think Kyron Williams and Ian Book will have a big game along with all their skill position players because, I mean, North Carolina's defense is terrible. So yeah, and then but I think if North Carolina wants any chance to win this game, Sam Howell has to play like he did last week against Wake Forest when he was what 32 for 42 or 32 for 45, and um, he has guys to throw like Dami Brown and Daz Newsome who have 12 touchdowns combined. I really don't like the line. I'm liking it more now that I talk about it. If I had to take one thing, I'd take the under 68. But if I had to take the line, I would also take North Carolina +6, which I've suddenly become a lot more confident about. I think Notre Dame's going to come out flat. So that's just kind of what I got there. I honestly just hope it's a good game. I know that Texas Iowa State's going on right now, so hopefully that's a good game. But yeah, I just like to see a good game. And then yeah, North Carolina. After that, you got Oregon and Oregon State. Used to be known as the Civil War, but apparently that's not now appropriate. So it's just a rivalry game.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon has shown that their, their offense has had some struggling times, their defense has had some struggles, but I mean, this is to happen. This is really when they need to start firing on all cylinders. You can't be 4 games into the season and still be having rust from, a month ago, basically. Now that you when you started, you're supposed to have everything to kind of together. Oregon State has been, kind of an underdog team. I mean, they're unranked now due to some tough losses, but they had that defense there that had us going for a little bit. So I think this is going to be a lot closer game than everyone thinks. I would definitely take Oregon State plus 13.5. I think this game's going to be maybe a 10-point game. I think 13.5 is a little bit too high. And the over-under of 64, I'd probably take the under again here.
Yeah, for the Oregon State game, it seems weird. Like it's almost like the Oklahoma State Oklahoma rivalry, where like when they play at Oklahoma State, weird things happen. It seems like every time that the Ducks go to Corvallis in like not necessarily a prime time spot, but a national spot, like they end up. I mean, I remember back to the days. I'm sure you don't remember Dennis Dixon and then Jeremiah Masoli, and like it was always a big game. So um, I'm looking forward to that one too. Tyler Shaw has been okay, but the big stars are the running backs, Verdell and Travis Dye, and they have a balanced receiver group. But yeah, if I had to pick one thing, I'm not going to go near the over under. I don't think. And then, so I would take Oregon State plus 13.5.
Yeah.
But it's just because the past few weeks, it seems like every line for Oregon has been, 13, 14.5 or 12 or something like that. And they haven't been able to cover recently. So that's for that. But going on, so those are the games from Friday. I think there's a couple other games on. I'll check that real quick, but I think there's a couple other games on today to just relax and watch college football while you nap and sleep off the meal you had yesterday. Yeah, Nebraska at Iowa is going on right now. That one's on Fox. Iowa's up 10-3. Iowa State and Texas up 13-10 at halftime.
Who's up at halftime?
Texas 13-10.
Okay.
And then Liberty and UMass are playing. Liberty's up 31-0 at half.
Jesus.
USF and UCF play today. That's kind of a rivalry down there, but USF is 1-7, so they're terrible. Stanford Cal is today. boy, whatever happened to that game? That game used to be like a
Oh,
big
Cal versus
rival.
Stanford, yeah.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, I can't remember the last time Cal was good. I mean, maybe when they had
Mm.
Deshaun Jackson and then like Aaron Rodgers. I don't know, but
I was gonna say Marshawn Lynch because that's a little bit more recent, but
yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers got drafted in 2006. Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
He sat behind Favre, so Favre was still playing. But with that, we'll head into Saturday, and the first game up for us on the slate is Ohio State at Illinois. Ohio State really got a reality check last weekend. Hoosiers quarterback Michael Penix Jr. threw for almost 500 yards and 5 touchdowns against a slow reacting Ohio State defense and a defensive backfield that just seemed to give up everything all the time. I mean, that Tyler Frofigel, Freifogel for Indiana had like a great game. He had over 150 receiving yards. So this isn't like your older brother's Ohio State team that dominates on defense and runs the ball. But I do think this week will be different. I think Ohio State's going to be a little mad. They see themselves at 4. And so I think they're just going to kind of be over it, and then they're going to want to take out their anger on somebody. And Illinois, I mean, when they brought in Lovey Smith from the Bears, like he was supposed to turn everything around. He's clearly not done that. So I like Ohio State minus 28 and look for Fields to throw for over 250 yards and 4+ scores.
Mhm.
But we'll
Now
get
we
in.
get to go. We get to go to my boys down in the good old Florida, Corona capital of the world. We got Florida versus Kentucky at Florida. I mean, Kentucky's just kind of an underwhelming team this year. We don't really need to talk about them. But let's talk about here Florida. My guy Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask this year has really come into his own. We did our trivia a couple weeks ago with him. The first year he's actually starting as a QB since his freshman year in high school, and has just really showed out. I mean, in my eyes, is the number one overall Heisman Trophy winner this year. If the season ended today, I feel like he wins the Heisman. If he keeps this up, Trevor Lawrence kind of struggles coming back and everything. Justin Fields just keeps doing him, keeps throwing 3 picks a game. I think he has a chance. And I don't think I tried looking into this, but I don't think they've decided yet if Kyle Pitts is a go no go, at least as of Wednesday. They might have said something today. I haven't checked today yet. But if they have Kyle Pitts, I see them kind of weaning him into the offense a little bit. I don't think they'll go completely heavy into him because they don't want him to get hurt again, especially if they can make a push towards the playoffs here. But I think you'll definitely see Kyle Trask make a huge jump again and have absolutely ridiculous numbers against Kentucky this year. I mean, that's really all I have to say. I would definitely take the Florida minus 20. Is it still minus 25?
Yeah.
Yeah, I take the minus 25. And to be honest, I might take the over of 61, but I'm not going to touch the over under. I think that's a little bit kind of a trap. Because you never know. Kentucky could score like a touchdown in garbage time and score 21 points. And then it's like, well, they're at maybe 50, 60 points. But I'll take Florida minus 25 in that game.
Yeah, I think Kyle Trask will stay on top of the Heisman leaderboard until they lose to Alabama in the SEC
Whoa,
championship.
okay. Know that. It is 2020. We've had a lot of crazy stuff going on this year. You
I
never
mean,
know. Alabama, Mac Jones could go down with a knee injury. Najee Harris could just have it.
So Bryce Young can go in.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, but Florida, the rest of their schedule after Kentucky is at Tennessee and home versus LSU. They shouldn't need Pitts against Kentucky or Tennessee or LSU. Really, I could see them holding him out until the LSU game, get him in for like the first half, and then hopefully have your Big East or SEC East spot, already in the championship. So, and they'll bring him back for that. I could see that happening. But yeah, I mean, Florida's going to kill Kentucky today. I mean, I don't know if you heard. Obviously, you weren't paying attention to my news and notes, but Kentucky's down 18 players today.
Yeah.
So, or I think 18 players and staff members or personnel. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it should be a pretty easy blowout for them. But I guess you never know. But yeah, if I had to pick, I'd also go Florida minus 25. I think. I just don't think Kentucky is able to score. I mean, I don't think Florida's defense is anywhere near as good as Alabama's. But I mean, they're not going to score more than 10, 15 points.
No,
So
yeah. I see. That's the only thing that, like, with the over under 61, it's like, okay, is Florida gonna be one of those teams this to try to get their second half players more time, which means running the offense a little bit differently than if Kyle Trask was in. So I'd stay away from the over under, but I definitely take Florida minus 25.
and with that, we'll head back to Big Ten country.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about the Maryland Indiana game. Indiana is still, obviously, the committee does respect Indiana because they're still ranked 12th ahead of BYU. But they're all coming off a huge, like, heartbreaking, disappointing loss to Ohio State. They gave them everything they could. Maryland is finally back on the field, and this might be the best team they've had in years. Their quarterback, Talia Tagovailoa, obviously the younger brother of Tua.
Mm-hmm.
He's shown flashes of greatness, but overall he's just been okay.
He's
58
still
for,
young though. He's
yeah,
still young.
58 for 86 for 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions on the year. However, their Maryland's running game is this white running back named Jake Funk, and he averages over 100 yards a game. So um, Indiana's run defense is pretty good. They're okay. I mean, they kind of let Ohio State run all over them, but that's a different story. But I think Tagovailoa is good enough to at least keep this one close. And so I would say if I was picking one, I like Maryland plus 12. Yeah, I just say I don't think Indiana will be able to pull away, even though they were very um, impressive against Ohio State. I just don't think they can pull away. And so yeah, I expect Talia Tagovailoa, and I can't remember. They signed a 5-star receiver last year. I can't remember his name. Um, but yeah, if you want to, you can go on to your coastal if you want.
Yeah, so Coastal this week is facing uh North is it North North Texas or Texas State, sorry. And this is, I mean, last week they kind of struggled against Appalachian State, but I feel like this is a easy game for them. Texas State has really struggled. It's kind of two tails of the tape. You have a team that's really really done well this year versus a team that's in like a rebuild phase. Texas State is, still trying to find their identity. They haven't really had a lot of good success running the ball or passing it, but I feel like this is a kind of a throwaway game. I'm looking at the stat line for it. I'm just trying to find it. I believe Coastal's only favored by 16. The over under is 64.5. I take the Coastal at minus 16. I just think they're too good this year. I don't think Texas State is at all anywhere close to being able to hold them. I mean, Appalachian State was going to be their toughest game all year, but I feel like this is really a kind of a chalk me up game for Coastal and a game to kind of solidify their role and be like, we're still here moment on the college football playoff.
You said they're over under 61.
64.5.
I would hit that under so hard.
I don't know. I
Even
think
when Coastal wins, they only score about 28 points a game, and unless they lose. But
no, I know.
I
I probably take the under there as well. But I mean, it's again, Texas State is horrifically bad. I don't know if I think you get 5 possessions, they're going to score every single time, and then I think Texas State will score maybe once or twice. So that's 10, 14 points there. So yeah, I mean it's a tough one, but I would probably hit the under. You convinced me to hit the under on that one.
That's good. It's because I'm
But
smart.
with that we can kind of going to the game of the week right now. Auburn.
You're
What?
missing one. You're missing one.
I'm missing one. What am I?
All right.
What game am I missing? Oh, you skipped the Northwestern game.
Yeah, and then I was
Oh,
gonna do it, but I'll just go over it real quickly. By the way, that Maryland did sign a 5-star receiver last year. Name's Rakeem Jarrett. He flipped from LSU on signing day. I don't know what his stats are, but I know he's 5-star. Northwestern, Michigan State. Not much to say about this one. Michigan, you never know what to expect from Michigan State at all. I mean, they beat Michigan, who is also bad, but at Michigan, which is not an easy place to go and win on the road, no matter the circumstances. So I'm a little bit hesitant to Michigan State, but I think they are bad, and I think um, Northwestern will win the game like 24-3 or something like that. Their defense is really, really good. They only allow 13 points per game, and they just force turnovers and make big plays. Mel Tucker has done a pretty bad job so far in his first season at Michigan State. They have a 1-3 record, but like I said, their one win was in Ann Arbor. This will be a low-scoring game. I would take Northwestern minus 13. I'm not entirely positive. I believe Northwestern will score 13 points, but I really, really, really like the under of 41.5.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I like the over 41.5 here.
Dude, if Wisconsin can't score Northwestern, you can't tell me that you think Michigan State will.
I think Michigan State will. No, I don't think Michigan State will score that many points, but I think Northwestern will be able to put enough up on the board to cover that. You think about that. That's only 5 possessions. I feel like it's too low. I feel like that's a gimme over. But I don't even want to. Is it still 13.5 too for Northwestern?
Um,
Since
I got it. I got it at 13.
13, I might take. I probably take for the sake, but take Michigan State plus 13. I just think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to be like the Louisville versus Notre Dame game earlier on in the season, 12-7 type scoreline. Like not like that. Like it's not going to be 12-7, but it's going to be close like that. It's going to be like a 6 point game.
And that's why you don't cover the Big Ten.
You're right. That isn't why I said it.
No, but now we are going to go back down to your country, and for the game of the week, the Iron Bowl. I'll let you start because you're one of the SEC guy or the SEC guy. So,
I mean, this is, as you said, it's kind of a trap game here. I mean, Alabama's going to be without Nick Saban, but as you brought up, Auburn is historically bad on the road. I mean, they can't win a game to save their life. I mean, what is there to say? I mean, the key to this game, in my opinion, is going to be seeing if Devontae Smith can keep up his pace to surpass Elijah Moore as the only 1,000-yard receiver in the country right now. I believe he's off by only like 200 yards, so this could potentially be that game. But also to watch Najee Harris, see if he can get back on his track of, being kind of. I don't want to call it. I mean, I called it earlier, but I kind of backed away from it. But kind of the Derrick Henry type role on this team this year, being kind of a power back that can just hammer teams, and then, when it gets into the third, fourth quarter, just absolutely going off.
yeah, and then we can get a picture of Najee Harris next to Derrick
Henry
next to Mark Ingram. So
yeah.
Go ahead. You
sorry.
can finish it.
I was just gonna say that I think this is, I think Bama will be fine without Saban. Minus 24.5 is really high to me, though. I just don't think Auburn's that terrible. I still think it's going to be me. Like, I think they're going to win by double digits, but 24.5 points, I just don't. I take Auburn plus 24.5 because I think it's going to be like a 20-point win, not like a 27, like not a 28-point victory.
Yeah, no, I said the same thing. I like Auburn plus 24.5. I mean, it is still a rivalry game. So
also, you can't forget who's the quarterback at Auburn.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, exactly. And you never know what you're gonna get out of that dude. I
Well,
mean,
he's on the road, so he's not going to do well. So
yeah, no, exactly. But again, it's a rivalry game, so you never know. He could have a kind of like a Black Friday deal. He just goes off for one day and that's it. We never hear from Bo Nix again.
all right. So with that, I'm gonna give you mine, and you give me yours. Our
Mhm.
official picks. Mine are North Carolina +6, Ohio State -28, Maryland +12, Northwestern -13, and Auburn +24.5.
Mhm. Um, so for mine, I have Iowa State outright since they're even. I also have North Carolina +6, and then I took Oregon. But did I take Oregon minus 13 and a half? I believe I took Oregon State plus 13 and a half. So I'll take Oregon State plus 13 and a half, and then I'll take Florida minus 25. Oh, and I can't forget my boys Coastal. I'll
Yeah,
take
I was gonna say.
Coastal minus 16.
All right, I'll update the big board and after the show, and then with that, let's get into our locks. Hopefully you did some. I don't know if you understand it, but I think you do now.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so my locks of the week. Once again, we are a combined 20-10, which is pretty crazy. You're 9-6 in picks. I'm 11-6. I think it's
Well,
because
because we had that bad week last week that kind of threw everything off. We each had 4 losses last week, so
and I'm catching up to you in trivia. I'm 7-7. You're 8-6.
okay,
So
bud.
I am catching up to you. I'm literally like, if I go 2-0 this week and you go 0-2, you'd be worse than me. So, but whatever. And then I get in my locks. Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State over 54. Neither team can play defense. Um, Ohio State versus Illinois under 71.5. That's just a lot of points, and I don't think Ohio State's going to put up more than 48-52, and I don't think Illinois will score more than
Mm-hmm.
7 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I also like Iowa State outright, and then did I say it? Yeah, North Carolina +6, Iowa State outright, and then Northwestern Michigan State under 41.5.
Mm-hmm.
So what's
Um,
yours?
you got rid of your USC one, right?
I didn't make a pick for USC.
Okay.
That
Good.
was one of yours.
Yeah, no. Well, on the outline it says you have USC minus 11. So
Yeah, oh
okay.
yeah, I didn't see that too. I think I got this done on Wednesday. I sent it to you, and then
Okay.
I think yesterday this news popped up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take Coastal Carolina. The under in that game of 64 and a half. My other lock of this week is Florida minus 25. I'm also going to take the under in the 71 and a half at the Ohio State Illinois game, and I'm going to take the Iowa State outright. So hopefully they can come back because they're down by 3 right now.
All right. So you have 4 locks. I have 5.
Is that
We have 2 of the same. OSU under 71.5. Then
Mhm.
you also we bought. I took Florida minus 25 if I were to pick it. You like Coastal under 64.5 and Iowa State outright.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I'd also, you know what? I'll go Notre Dame, or I'll go UNC also plus 5.5 or +6 is it now? +6. I'll take that one too. I think that's a good pick this week.
All right. Well, like I said, I will update the big board and send out the picture when we are done. So with that being said, obviously there's some big games and there are some players that we need you to watch to see if they play well in big games. I'll let you go. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first actually this week. I think my number one player to watch this week is definitely going to be the Mr. Kyle Trask. I think this is his solidifying game as a top contender for the Heisman this year. Just a game to go show out and show his skills versus kind of a scout team. My second player to watch would be the wide receiver out of the two wide receivers out of North Carolina. I believe one of them.
Diami Brown and Daz Newsome.
Yep, I think those guys are going to have huge games against a really tough Notre Dame defense, and it's kind of might boost their draft stock if they can go and show out. I don't think they'll be like a top 10 draft pick, but potentially could jump into the first round.
Yeah, I mean, you never
Given
know what I mean. Certain teams have certain. That's what's so weird about the draft. Certain teams have certain like positions and players they want for each position, which makes sense if you're going to run your own team and do a coach. But like, it's just weird to me sometimes. It's funny. Like I'll talk to you about that. I just can't believe Trey Lance is going to go in the top 10.
I can't believe either. I mean, you never know. We have if they have a combine this year and he has like crazy good accuracy, crazy good arm. I could see it. I mean, again, he's only played one game, so we don't know how that decision making goes into effect in a live game situation.
Well,
But
he played. I mean, he played in 2 years. He started as a freshman and sophomore. More. This was his junior year. So I mean, he has two
I know.
years of tape. But like I said, for some teams that have like a top 10 grade on him, I just don't see that. Like I'd much rather have a
No,
Kyle Trask.
I completely agree with you. I'm just saying I can see it eventually. My last player to watch would definitely be Notre Dame's defense. I mean, not a player, but just a. I think that's going to be a great matchup for them against another really good, high-powered offense. I mean, if they can, you know, corral North Carolina, I'd say they ride that wave into their championship game against Clemson.
All right. So for my players to watch, I have three as well. The first one is Sam Howell, the quarterback in North Carolina. He's kind of being compared to a younger Kyle Trask. He has the same body type. He's a little bit more athletic, but not as good of an arm, but kind of that. He needs to play like he did last week over Wake Forest for them to have any shot to beat Notre Dame. Last week he was 32 for 45 for 550 yards, 6 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. I mean, if he plays like that and your defense can get maybe like
A
one or
stop
two,
or two.
one or two stops down towards the end of the game, I think North Carolina will have a very good chance to win. But I mean, obviously Notre Dame's defense is very different than Wake Forest. So,
Yeah.
my second player, I think I've had him pretty much um, all year, every week. Brees Hall, running back Ohio State. He'll be focused on their offense, and it's actually, like I said, it's one of their bigger games in years. They can punch their ticket to the Big 12 championship. So, and then, I forgot to mention Matt Campbell, the coach for Iowa State. I guess he's the front runner for the Nebraska job, which I just don't understand. You're going from Iowa State to Nebraska. It's like the same school. You're not making, other than going from the Big 12 to the Big 10, you're not making that big of a jump. So, but yeah,
But I think they have I think Nebraska has a better talented younger talented class than Iowa State has.
yeah, I mean, NFL team, the Browns have wanted Matt Campbell for 2 straight years when they didn't have a coach. I mean, because I guess all the players that come out of Iowa State say it's like the most professionally run program in the country. And I mean, Iowa State's not necessarily, it's not a recruiting hotbed. It's not anything like that, but he gets good teams together. And I think there's a very good chance Iowa State finishes in the top 10.
Yeah.
Huge. And then my last one to watch, Justin Fields, Ohio State. This is more of just to see how well he can bounce back. He was awful last weekend, 18 for 30, 300 yards, three picks and two touchdowns. That helped the Hoosiers stay in the game. I like 3 interceptions is what he threw all year last year, and he threw in one game, I think one half. So, right now, I don't really, I mean, I'll update. We do our Heismans and our top 10s next week, but right now, if I were to have I don't think I would. Justin Fields would probably be like the first guy out for me right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll kind of get into it here. I mean, I'll start off with our hot takes. My first one, I know I talked about it, but I'm going to really go off now. BYU deserves to be higher, deserves to be in conversation for maybe a top 2 team out potentially, if they're able to, score at least 50, 60 points in these last couple games. My second one, Kyle Trask deserves to win MVP, especially after the last 2 weeks. If he continues to go off without his top wide
MVP,
receiver,
you mean the Heisman?
yeah,
Okay.
I call it the MVP. I mean, it's
Yeah, no,
basically
I was just making sure. It's a quarterback's award, so yeah, you're
yeah.
basically right. Just making sure.
It's like the MVP award. There's never going to be. I don't think there
No.
will ever be a defensive player ever again. Other than, I think the closest player that came to the NFL was J.J. Watt in like 2011, 2012 that was up for
Yeah.
MVP.
He had like
But
18 sacks and like 3 pick sixes, and he still didn't win it.
yeah,
And
I
Miles
know.
Garrett, I think Miles Garrett would have had a decent shot this year if he didn't get COVID and would not the past 2 weeks. But that's maybe some off-season talk. We'll talk a little bit more NFL.
Yeah, but again, Kyle Trask deserves to win, deserves to be in the conversation for Heisman and potentially win it if he continues to go off. And every single other quarterback that's trying to fight for it, I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, I hate to say it, but Mac Jones and Zach Wilson don't deserve a shot if this dude keeps putting up the numbers he is without his best receiver, Kyle Pitts. And then just going back to BYU, they deserve to be higher. They absolutely deserve to be higher. I mean, 14? Seriously? 14. You're putting Georgia, Miami, Florida, Oklahoma over them. I can't. They deserve to at least be number 9. They deserve to be in the top 10. Okay. I would push them up further because I'm a BYU fan, but I would have accepted 9. The fact that you put them at number 14 is just disrespectful. Shame on you, College Football Committee.
No, shame on you. Shame on you. You like Zach Wilson because he responded to your tweet. A.
No,
B,
I didn't. Okay, you know what? No, I don't. I
they
just think he's
haven't
a hell of a quarterback.
They haven't beaten anybody. And they don't. And honestly, if they just didn't beat anybody and played in the AAC, they would be in the top 10 right now. And then they would have their chance to probably get in facing Cincinnati in the conference championship. I do feel bad for BYU, but I mean, it really goes to show that it's a reality check. You need to schedule some tough games. And I'm sure
it's COVID. They had a tough schedule. They had like one of the top 10 toughest schedules going into the week into this year, but COVID screwed everything up. They couldn't schedule out of conference games.
Yes, they're all out of conference games because they're independent.
Well, you know what I'm saying. They couldn't schedule any. I'm not even going to get into this argument. We could go all night about this, but we have.
Yeah,
I know
what
are your hot takes? What are your hot takes?
I have 2. One you're not gonna like. I think there's while it's a slim chance, I think the ACC could possibly be left out of the college football playoff.
I can see that.
North Carolina beats Notre Dame, and then whatever happens in the ACC championship, all 3 of them end up with 1 loss, and you have an undefeated Alabama, undefeated Ohio State, undefeated Cincinnati still, 1 loss Texas A&M, 2 loss Florida, no loss undefeated BYU. No, they're not going to do that. But yeah, I think it's not. I don't think it's likely because I just can't see them. Especially if Notre Dame has 1 loss and Clemson has 1 loss, I think they're more likely to get 2 teams in than none. But I kind of thought about it today. I mean, there's a possibility that they could be left out, especially if in all 3 of those combinations of games they don't look good or look good and kind of things like that, and they don't really pass the eye test. And my other hot take is BYU will finish outside the top 15 in the final rankings. That's just it shouldn't be a surprise. They need to stay within the top 18 to get a New Year's Six bowl. I do think they'll do that. But yeah, I
can't with you. I can't.
If Texas beats Iowa State today, they're moving ahead of BYU.
What?
Yeah, I mean it's just dude. I'm just telling you the way it is.
Oh my god, I can't.
If Oregon wins today, I bet they're above BYU as well. And if North Carolina wins, they're definitely above BYU.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with the North Carolina one. I don't agree with anyone else.
BYU is going to not end up like Cincinnati is like the undefeated good team. They're going to end up in wherever the rankings are. They'll end up outside the top 15 with teams like
Nope. Nope.
with teams like
No.
Coastal, Marshall,
No. Not
and
a
Tulsa.
chance.
Yes, you know it's right. I'm sorry to tell
Nope.
you that, but I mean you
No.
know it's right.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. 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 You lie like a rug. I agree with your North Carolina take, though. I think if North Carolina does win against Notre Dame, they will definitely jump above them as it sits. But I don't agree with Texas. I don't agree with Oregon. Oregon's favored in that game. They don't deserve to jump up if you're favored by. What were they favored by? They were favored by 13 and a half. They don't beat Oregon State by 13 and a half and they win by like a touchdown or even like a 3-point game. No, they do not deserve to jump up 2 spots. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Just
And
tell
Iowa
me
State will say the same. What?
you can keep giving me things. That's how it's going to work. Like
No, it's not how it's going to work.
you can be mad as you want. BYU is going to finish outside the top 15.
All right, let's move on here. Can we get to our 1 minute debate instead of coaches on the hot seat this week? All right, I'd rather do the 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute debate.
All right.
So this is a little Yeah, so our festive debate. You have to pick between what did I say?
Who's the best team that will make the playoff?
No, I changed it.
Well,
it's a better one. It's a better one. It's a better one. It's a Thanksgiving edition one. You can only pick one: turkey, ham, stuffing, or dressing, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and sweet potatoes, or anything else that you like. You can only pick one, and you're also including that gravy comes with it because I just mixed gravy in my everything. So,
okay.
This was a little. Maybe we can do that next week, Jake, because you'll talk about BYU now.
No, I won't. I swear to God, I wasn't gonna pick BYU. I was gonna pick Florida. I feel like Florida is the best team that won't make it into the college football playoff.
I thought this was just like a better, Thanksgiving.
No, I agree with you. That is a better one. All right, so flip your coin. I'll call heads. Can you
tails? I'll go second.
Okay. Hot take. Again, mashed potatoes, best meal, best dish at Thanksgiving dinner. I love my garlic mashed potatoes. Give them to me all day. I will eat about 4 servings, maybe 6 if I'm lucky, of those things. I can't get enough of those, man. Dude, I can't, bro. Garlic mashed potatoes, no gravy. Oh my God, with some salt and Himalayan sea salt. Dude, I'm watering at the mouth. I'm so hungry right now. I could go for at least 3-4 plates of those right now.
First of all, you can't say your garlic mashed potatoes. They're just mashed potatoes. You make
no, they're garlic. I have garlic mashed potatoes. That's the only they're mashed potatoes, but that's what we call them at my family dinner.
Well, and the fact that you're not putting gravy on it is just weird. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna win this. Because you're putting gravy on it, stuffing or dressing, whatever you call it, is the best. It has the most flavor. Like different palate. It's like perfect to eat between the turkey.
I can't argue with you because I've never had stuffing. So
the turkey. What? Why?
I don't know. It just looks weird to me. Do you
have okay? Well, first of all, I won that. You did. Actually, whatever. But stuffing is amazing. But so do you have like cranberry sauce? What's your Thanksgiving plate?
My Thanksgiving plate, I got my turkey, my garlic mashed potatoes, and usually I'll have either sauteed carrots, asparagus, or broccoli, or a combination of the 3.
I mean, that's not even Thanksgiving.
I'm a plain type of guy, okay? I'm a vanilla man.
You want to hear what it is? You got a little turkey, mostly white meat, little couple pieces of dark meat, stuffing, mashed potatoes, a crescent roll, a regular roll, and you cover everything in gravy and make a stew out of it.
No, just get the gravy nonsense out of here. No.
Okay.
You're too gravy hungry, man.
I love gravy. It's the best. I mean, biscuits and gravy is the greatest thing that ever happened to breakfast in the world.
Whatever you say.
Okay, let's get into our trivia. Mine is going to be mostly about the Heisman Award. But I'll go ahead and go first. All right.
All right.
Um, who is the only primarily defensive player to win the Heisman? He beat out Peyton Manning at the University of Tennessee in 1997.
So you said beat out Peyton, the prime, but haven't there's been multiple players that won over in. I'm trying to think. He won over Peyton Manning in 1997. Oh wow, I'm stupid. Charles Woodson from Michigan.
Yep, good job.
Okay. My first question of the trivia would be: so there have been about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams that have played in the college football playoffs. Out of those teams, what team has lost? What team appeared multiple times and has lost every single game that they've been in it?
Oklahoma.
Yep.
All right. Okay, cool. That was easy. Good. All right.
Well, yours was easy once I once I did the math.
Yeah. I mean, all three of mine should be relatively easy. This one will probably be the hardest one. Who was the first recipient of a Heisman Award to coach a player that won the Heisman Award? This guy got the 1966 Heisman, and he coached the 1996 winner.
So you said 1966. Was it at the same? I'm trying to think. You said he coached the 1966 one, right?
No, he got the night. He received
No, yeah,
it.
he caught, but he then when did
Yeah,
he
all
coach?
at the same school.
All at
It
the same school?
1996. He received it from this place in 1966, and he coached the winner of 1996, who also went to this place, and that he coached at.
1966. Oh, I'm gonna mispronounce this. It's Steve Spurrier? I think is how you pronounce the last name.
Yeah, old ball coach. Good one.
I knew what you were
How do
trying to.
you not know Steve Spurrier? Steve Spurrier's awesome.
No, I know who he is. I said I didn't know if I pronounced the last name right. I haven't heard that name in a while. Again, I was just going to again. I didn't want to mispronounce his last name. That was the
Okay.
whole thing.
All right, go ahead.
Are we only doing 2 or are we doing 3?
If you have 3, if you have 2, I'm good with 2. But yeah, just do one more. It's fine.
Okay. I'll do one more. I just got to choose between my questions. Okay. What 2 teams have the? No, that's too easy. What team has? Ooh, this is a good one. Okay. What team is the only? What are the only 2 teams from the Big Ten to have made it into the college football playoffs? I know it's an easy question for you, but I didn't really do a lot of questions this week.
Ohio State, Michigan State.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, you were 2-0. I was 2-0. Good trivia week. I will update the big board. But yeah, everyone, make sure you tune into in about an hour. We're going
Notre
to
Dame versus North Carolina.
Yeah, it should be a good one. You'll be at work, so if you want updates, let me know.
Yeah. Well, I won't be at work for like the first hour and a half of the game, so I'll
Yeah,
watch it.
and make sure you. I believe we can also finally be found on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. I believe, or at least we're in the process of getting all that stuff moved over. We also have our own page on the Backsports page website. It's just go to web shows, click on Fourth and Long, and that's us. That'll have all our archives and things like that. Any college football articles we write. But other than that, we obviously wish everyone had a great Thanksgiving or whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope everyone stays healthy and safe through the weekend, and anyone who has COVID, You're in our thoughts and prayers for the family and everyone along with it. But yeah, it's kind of no joke that Nick Saban has that he's like 60 something. So best
Yeah.
wishes to him.
Yeah. Everyone just stay safe, make smart decisions going into this weekend, especially with today being Black Friday. Shop online
Yeah, I don't know why
and
people don't
just
shop
and just make
online.
smart decisions. So
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you next Tuesday where we will recap everything. Like I said, I will post the big board on Instagram, Twitter, and I don't know where else. But that's it for us. This was the 15th episode of the Fourth and Long podcast, presented to you by Back Sports Page. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at BROWNLOJCLE, and then Jake. I just wish I could get rid of this banner. It's at PICCUITO Jacob, and then follow the show at the number 4 TH and long pod, and we'll give you updates on everything. Some scores today. I believe in the near future we also just started doing live blogging. So I'm hoping that next Saturday I'll be able to, if you one of us will be able to update like a big board on just what the score is, so you don't have to go to ESPN and wait around for all that traffic and stuff. But yep. So hopefully everyone had a great holiday. But we'll talk to you next time on Tuesday. You probably noon again.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Pardon.
So yeah.
Oh no, next Tuesday I'm off. So we can go regular time.
Which is nighttime.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
your nighttime, my like afternoon time.
Yeah, so we'll either go. We'll go with 6 or 7 Eastern on Tuesday. But we'll let you know. So everyone, thanks for watching and listening, and
Have a good one.
have a great weekend.